Hi friends and new friends, Kimchi Chris here, and welcome to today's brand new episode where we are going to take a look at my experience seeing the K-pop queens themselves twice. Now, if you're somehow unfamiliar with Twice and you still clicked on this, they're arguably the biggest, or at least one of the biggest K-pop girl groups in the world right now. I would say in America, Blackpink is definitely more well known than them. But I feel that Twice are right up there. They're in second place, and this tour really shows that in spades. It sold out quickly. They added second dates in certain territories. I was very lucky to get to see this. My friend actually got the tickets, so shout out to her because these things sold out quick. I was on there trying to get tickets as well, but she got lucky and we got to go to the February 24th Atlanta, Georgia date at the State Farm Arena, and oh boy, it was exciting leading up to the show. This was going to be my second K-pop show ever. Funny enough, my first was Blackpink, and that was pre-pandemic. So not only was this the first kind of post-pandemic-y K-pop experience, but my first time seeing Twice. And even though I'd say I'm a fan, I'm one of those, I don't have to have everything Twice in my life, but they are quickly climbing the ranks even with me and might be my favorite of the current generation of K-pop girl groups. But that's not what's important here. What's important is the show and some things that I really started to think about during the show and after the show and even a little bit before it. So we're going to kind of divide this into two areas. We're going to look at the show itself and then kind of some of the lasting implications of the show itself and just K-pop in America in general. So the State Farm Arena did an awful job getting everyone in. I did hear through the rumor mill, and it seemed like there was definitely some truth to this, that Twice's flight was late to Atlanta, so that's where the debacle really kind of came from. But they did a really bad job getting people inside and communicating, and it was one of the worst experiences I've ever had getting into an actual venue, and we even missed the first song. So that's something that never happens, and we were outside for like 3 hours. It was ridiculous. But once we were inside, we just kind of ran inside, got to our seats, and the show was already in full swing. And oh boy, what a show it was to walk into. The stage setup was just ridiculous. It's a K-pop show. They're always going to be over the top. They had the catwalk with the B stage kind of out front and giant video screen behind, tinier video screens on the side, risers, all kinds of stuff. It was a great stage setup and something really crazy to walk into when the lights are already down, the light sticks are already out, and people are just going insane. You could hear the screams from the hall but barely hear the music, and there were times inside where it's very similar, just screams, just insanity over the music. But it was a good balance. It's a good balance. It's an exciting thing to walk into. And since we missed the opening song of the Phils, which is a shame because I love that song, we did get to hear Phil Special, or at least part of it, as we were walking in. So that was a good intro nonetheless. And from there, it just continued on and on and on and on. The show ended up being somewhere around 3 hours, which is just insane by any standard, but that's what we got. And there were 31 songs total, and they played most of what you would want to hear. They played pretty much everything from their newest record, Formula of Love. I think they left out 1 or 2 songs, but there were a lot of songs from that record. They even played Last Waltz, so there was a lot of representation from the current record, which was cool. I like the new record. They played Moonlight, which is my favorite song by far from that record. It basically sounds like Michael Jackson if he was producing K-pop in 2022, so I'm very okay with that. And they played most of the singles you would expect. Again, we walked in on Phil Special. They played What Is Love. They played Dance the Night Away. They played Alcohol Free. All of the hits, but my one complaint, the one that made me sad about the set list is that they did not play Cheer Up, because that's the song that brought me into Twice. I love Cheer Up. I know there's always another chance to see it if they tour again, but I feel with K-pop artists, sometimes at some point they start to avoid some of the older material, so I don't know. I'm not hopeful that I'll ever get to see them play that one, but it was on the Wheel of Songs when they did the encore, because they brought out kind of a spinny wheel, you spin it and it picks a song for you at random. That's what the encore consisted of. And it was on there, but we didn't get it at our stop. They have played it on some other stops, but we didn't get it That's a shame. Maybe next time. But this is a K-pop show, so there was much more to the show than just the music. The production, for example, was absolutely insane, as it should be with an arena tour. You had all of the arena tropes. You had confetti, you had a bit of pyro, you had risers that you know, rose, you had giant video screens, you had interlude videos between the costume changes and different stages and whatnot. You, of course, since it is K-pop, had insane choreography, backup dancers, all kinds of stuff, and it was a really good show visually. Even if you knew nothing about the music, I think you would have had a good time just watching the girls run around and perform. And what was really interesting to me and threw me off at first was when they were speaking to the audience, they had a live translator, and I was confused at first because the voice didn't really sound like what I thought any of them sounded like, but I thought it was one of them speaking, but I didn't know which because there's, you know, 9 girls on stage, but it was a translator, which was really interesting. When they spoke English to the crowd, of course, they didn't use the translator, but they did for when they were speaking Korean. So that was very interesting. I had never seen that at a live show before, even with all the different Japanese bands I've seen through the years. So what a cool experience that was. Everything about the production was great, top notch. Everything about the songs and the song choices were pretty much where you wanted them to be. I mean, overall, this was just an absolutely great show. And I know the tour is over now, so I can't tell you to go see it if you're on the fence, but next time they tour, if you were on the fence this time, go check them out because you're gonna have a good time. If you like Twice, this is going to fulfill everything you want and more, and I think the next tour will be even bigger, and I don't think we're gonna have to wait as long because hopefully there won't be another pandemic, and with how well this tour was attended and how successful it was, I think they're gonna be back in America sooner than later. I wouldn't be surprised to see them here later this year or even early next year, so let's keep our fingers crossed for that. So that's the show, but I said there was going to be a part 2 to this where we kind of looked at some of the implications of this tour and things that I really thought of while I was there. And one of the biggest things that just kept crossing my mind is that never in a million years, all of these years back when I got into this stuff and, you know, had artists like Girls' Generation kind of flopping in America, let's be real, or Wonder Girls, they tried really hard with them and they didn't really succeed over here either. I never in a million years thought I would see an arena in the middle of a big city completely filled to the brim with K-pop stans going crazy for an artist, and knowing also that they probably could have played an even bigger venue in that city or done a second night if time had allowed. It was insane. This hit me really hard at this show. I remember thinking about this when I saw Blackpink a couple years ago, but that was a smaller arena in Duluth, Georgia, which is a predominantly Korean area to begin with, but even though this was just slightly removed from that, it's not a huge drive to get into downtown Atlanta, it really hit me harder there that this is a music and a culture that has expanded so much in my lifetime that it floors me. It floors me. I know a lot of this really stemmed from BTS, and I'm not really into the boy bands or anything like that, but the girl groups are starting to follow suit, and we've seen so many of them tour America over the last couple years. Of course, like I mentioned, we have Blackpink that did their big arena tour, and even artists on a smaller scale. You've had G-Idol and Everglow and even Dreamcatcher and artists like that coming over here. And it's just so exciting to think that there's even more for them to achieve. This is still a weirdly small genre in America, K-pop. A lot of people know about K-pop, but they don't really understand every little part about it because there is such a culture, be it the light sticks or the photo cards or just the different words they use to talk about the fandom. And it's really expanding over here, and it's exciting because these bands are playing big venues, but they're doing them selectively. Most of these tours don't consist of, 30 or 40 dates, but I would not be surprised if in a couple years, some of the bigger artists in this genre, again, acts such as Twice or Blackpink or obviously BTS, I wouldn't be surprised if they could do 30-date tours across America and do just as well as they are on these smaller scale tours. And smaller scale is a weird term to use because they're playing arenas and stadiums, but I think you get what I'm getting to here is that this culture is expanding. I really, 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 really hope it's not a phase. I hope it's not a fad. I know that most of these things start out as phases and fads, but I hope that it grows and continues to grow because it's awesome. K-pop shows are fun, and I want to go to more than just 2 in the next couple years, and that's all I've attended so far, but I really want this thing to continue to grow so the opportunity can be there for the artists as well as the fans and the fandom in America. And I know I'm not the only one to really think about these things or say these things out loud. It's It's so crazy to me that it was K-pop that broke over here. For years, we thought it was going to be J-rock. We thought it was going to be J-rock with some of these visual K bands and stuff, but it's K-pop as the predominant Asian music form in America that finally broke, which is exciting. It's crazy, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. But what do you think about all this? Did you see Twice on tour? Let me know in the comments below about your experiences with the show. Did you have a good time? I didn't hear anything negative about it. The only negatives I heard about my show, again, were related to the venue, having a really hard time getting people inside, but the show itself was great. Let me know all that and more below. Also, what artists would you like to see tour America next that maybe haven't gotten the chance yet from this genre? Because there's tons to pick from. Let me know that and more in the comments below. And if you are new around here, make sure to subscribe, hit that thumbs up, turn on notifications, all the things that every YouTuber tells you to do, because it really does help a lot. And once again, my name is Kimchi Chris, and I will see all of you on the next episode.